Quote, here legally since 1999. Thousands of immigrants have 60 days to leave. In September, the Department of Homeland Security will end temporary protections for more than 50,000 Hondurans and Nicaraguans who have lived in the U.S. for decades. Tyrone Bowman, live. This article for the Washington Post was written by Lauren Kaori Gurley. Let me fix my makeshift studio light over here. I'm trying to make it work tonight, but it doesn't want to seem to act right. So I'm doing the best I can with what I got. All right, let me get down to this story here as reported by the Washington Post. They are nurses, mechanics, sanitation workers, and executives. They've fallen in love with houses and raised children. They've opened restaurants and construction companies, paid taxes, and contributed to Social Security, living and working legally in the United States since 1999. Now, more than 50,000 Hondurans and Nicaraguans stand to abruptly lose their legal status as the Trump administration seeks to end their protections in place since the Clinton era under Temporary Protection Status Program, or TPS. And this raggedy lamp don't want to work tonight. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. You have to give me a minute to fix this. You know what I do is live, so I don't stop. Once I start, I keep going. So let me start this from the beginning. So more than 50,000 Hondurans and Nicaraguans to abruptly lose their legal status under the Trump administration, or as the Trump administration seeks to end their protections in place since the Clinton era under the Temporary Protected Status Program, or TPS. Amid a broader campaign to crack down on immigration, the Department of Homeland Security said that because, quote, conditions have improved, end quote, in Honduras and Nicaragua, it is ending the program for natives of those countries in early September. The decision, announced in early July, has been met with outrage from immigrant communities across the country, prompting a lawsuit by the National TPS Alliance on Advocacy Group and even impacted individuals. The parties allege that the decision violated federal law by relying on a predetermined political decision and racial amicus. While ignoring dire local conditions in those countries, immigration advocates hope federal courts will step in to intervene. But in the meantime, the order has left tens of thousands of people grappling with the possibility that they will be forced to leave their families and U.S. children to return to countries where they have no immediate family, no community, no jobs, places that in some cases they haven't seen in nearly 3 decades. Quote, my life has been here in the Bay Area, said Hani Sava, who's 29, a certified nursing assistant from Honduras, who is suing the Trump administration for ending the program. His parents brought him to the United States as a toddler in 1998. I've been doing everything the right way this whole time, said Silva, who fears being deported from his 9-year-old child, a U.S. citizen, but I'm very, very worried. Quote, close quote. President Bill Clinton established temporary protections for Hondurans and Nicaraguans after Hurricane Mitch devastated the Central American nations in 1998. Since then, the government has renewed the program every 6 to 18 months, but the Trump administration let it expire on July 5. The administration has also moved to revoke TPS, or temporary protection status, for as many as 900,000 people from Haiti, Venezuela, Afghanistan, Cameroon, and Nepal living in the U.S., arguing that the programs for nationals of countries facing conflict and environmental disaster was always intended to be temporary. Honduras and Nicaraguans have had temporary protections for much longer, in some cases decades more, than immigrants from other countries. Nearly 27 years after Hurricane Mitch, Honduran citizens can safely return home, Homeland Security Secretary Christy L. Noem said in a statement ending that country's program. Of Nicaragua's termination, a DHS spokesperson said the program was never meant to last a quarter of a century. It's not clear whether people affected will leave the U.S. voluntarily or try to lie low to avoid deportation. The average TPS holder from Honduras and Nicaragua is 48 years old and has been in the U.S. for more than 30 years, according to estimates from FWD.us, an immigration advocacy group. TPS holders from Honduras and Nicaragua told the Washington Post they now identify as Americans. Maria Elena Hernandez, 67, came to the U.S. from Nicaragua in 1996 and has worked as a cleaner at a university in Broward County, Florida for more than 17 years. She stands to lose her job and her employee-sponsored health insurance, which covers medication for asthma and a heart condition. Quote, "This news destroyed me," said Hernandez, who is also suing the federal government. "I am going to be separated from my family. I'm going to lose my medical insurance. I have a medicine that I have to take for life," quote, close quote. The Trump administration's termination of multiple humanitarian programs could strip 3 million immigrants of their status and work authorization, according to some immigration experts. About 72,000 Hondurans and 4,000 Nicaraguans have temporary protections, although roughly 22,100 of them have received green cards, according to the Department of Homeland Security, and therefore will be able to stay. Typically, administrations notify TBS holders 6 months or before winding down TBS programs for countries that have had the designation for more than 3 years. But when the administration announced the terminations of the programs for Hondurans and Nicaraguans on July 7, the program had already expired 2 days earlier. "The cruelty is really extraordinary," said Amy McLean, a senior attorney at the ACLU, or the Foundation of Northern California, who is working on the lawsuit. So these people have no criminal history because you cannot maintain TPS with criminal history. They've been paying their taxes for decades. They've been paying to re-register, and the administration waiting until after the end date to announce the termination is something that has not been done before, quote, close quote. Jackie Bazaya, who is now 30, was 2 when she came to Boston from Honduras with her mother. Her employer told her a day before the 4th of July weekend that it was placing her on leave while awaiting notice as to whether the Trump administration would extend the TPS program. For Honduras past its July 5 expiration, Bazilla has since been asked to return to a human resources job until the program runs out in early September. Now, look at these two photos. One is her when she was a young child, and the other is her now. So the first picture, she was age 4. I'll show you that one first. And that's her when she was age 4. Second photo that I'm going to show you, where she earned her associate's degree. As you can see here, she graduated from a particular university. Let's continue with the story. Quote, "I have no direct communication with anyone in Honduras," Bazilla said. "Being sent back is going to a place where I have absolutely no roots. I don't know where I would go. I have no clue how to navigate the country." She fears separation from her mother, sister, and other immediate family members, all of whom have U.S. citizenship or permanent residence. Bazaya's mother secured permanent legal residence through Bazaya's younger sister, who was born in the United States. Over the past 3 decades, thousands of Hondurans and Nicaraguans have used legal pathways to obtain green cards or citizenship, including through asylum applications, marriage to U.S. citizens, or through U.S. citizen children. But most immigrants with temporary protections, including Bazaya, do not have obvious legal ways to remain in the country after early September. Mark Kerkorian, executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies, a Washington think tank that advocates for stricter immigration policies, called the order an important step in the right direction. Quote, close quote. The lie of temporariness needs to end. Kerkorian said, it's not a great thing to uproot people who have been here for a long time, but the blame has to be put on activists and politicians who have made sure TPS was perverted in this way. If the program had lasted 12 to 18 months, it would be a lot less disruptive for people. Quote, close quote. So let me ask this question. I got to throw a wrench in it at some point in time. Do you think that this was white South Africans who were here under temporary protection status for more than 30 years, that they will be deported back over to South Africa? You tell me what you think. Many of the affected Hondurans and Nicaraguans work in construction, building, and grounds maintenance and transportation, industries that face labor shortages dating back to the COVID-19 pandemic. Quote, some regions are going to get hit really hard, and it's going to be even harder for folks to build things or provide health care, said Brian Turmel, a vice president at Associated General Contractors of America, a trade group that represents the construction industry. Well, that's true. The economy is going to be hit hard. To me, it seems like they really don't care about the economy. There's something else going on here, and I don't think people really are paying attention. So, Silva, the TPS holder from Honduras in the San Francisco Bay Area, worked at a Tulsa factory in the paint department throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and was considered an essential worker, he said. Now he works as a certified nursing assistant in the cardiac unit at Stanford Hospital, bathing, dressing, and feeding sick patients. Growing up in the Bay Area, Silva participated in his church's youth group, went to the movies, and played mini golf. He didn't think much about his immigration status, he said. When he graduated from high school in 2013 and tried to enlist in the U.S. Army, a recruiter told him he was not eligible. I've tried to be as American as possible, Silva said, but I've been in his country almost 30 years, and it's still so difficult for me to get any type of permanent status. Quote, close quote. Modal Hernandez, 57, came by himself to the D.C. area from Honduras at age 21 under TPS program. He works in real estate development and advocates for permanent status for the large Central American immigrant community in the D.C. area. So let's go to the comment section. Let's see, Mitty Jones from Delaware. Thank you for watching. Hope you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, what's up, Black Wolf? Right back at you. Black Wolf says, pray for me not to be homeless. I will sincerely pray for you not to be homeless, Black Wolf. I really will. Blue Hornet, hopefully the story ends well. I hope the story ends well, too. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of serious things happening and going on in our country. And people's lives are being affected in so many different ways. And I'm going to do my best to try to respectfully, truthfully, and honestly report the stories without me being biased toward any particular group of people, because I think it's important that these stories be talked about. It's important that they be done responsibly. It's important that these issues be addressed, because it might not affect people who they think they should affect, but somewhere along the line, every city, every county is going to be affected by what's going on in this nation. Never surrender, never quit.